Uh, um, it's, we have to,
Well, well, well. Can't quite get it out. Evictee. Perhaps should have spent some time away from World of Warcraft, rooting out your bad speaking habits.
Will you fight?
The human voice. It has beckoned the greatest battles in humanity's history. It has facilitated the creation of the world's most innovative creations.
Well, what we're going to do is get rid of all these buttons and just make a giant screen.
It has declared space conquered.
Boost ignition and liftoff.
Bring entire nations into songful unison and comfort even the saddest of hearts. The voice is only so powerful as you know how to use it, and just as importantly, how not to use it. Today we're going over the 5 major faux pas that you must avoid lest you risk your persuasive lion's roar falling into the petty croak of a frog. I'm Oak Thorson. This is Winner's Warchest. Let's go. Alright guys, faux pas number 1. Number 1, don't laugh at the end of your own sentences. Or too frequently, at the end of other people's sentences.
I should say that this is actually a fantastic play. This is serious. The one I was talking about.
I can be sober for a moment.
Yeah, just for a moment. It's still fun. This is a fun moment.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not like that, but...
It's not like that. There's no animals in this at all.
There's nothing like what you just did, no.
But it's set in the 80s, so we can say that, can we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we can say whatever we want, really.
No, you can say anything you want. There's
I
no
mean,
restrictions on how to describe it.
It's been out a while. People know what it's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. It's no secret.
But it's not a secret, no. What you guys don't know is... Were you going to say something?
No, I was just going to say, I wonder if you remember what happened before we taped the show tonight.
It's just so
I think you were going there. I didn't.
As a friend, I set up Mario Kart in your dressing room.
I really appreciate it.
You're a great actor.
Thank you.
You're a great actor, and you're...
Oh. You don't think what I just said is funny, do you? Mind if I just... if I laughed at that? So guys, what Michael Cera is doing here is absolutely god-awful. He might be a great actor. He's probably not. But what he's doing here is he's laughing at the end of all of his own sentences in places where a confident person just wouldn't laugh. Basically, he's laughing to break the tension subconsciously of what he's just said to show that he is not a threat to anyone else. It just shows that he's not confident in what he's saying. It's not a good look. No confident person ever, not a single one, would be laughing at the end of their own sentences just with the frequency that Michael Cera is, unless they felt uncomfortable or nervous. And you don't feel uncomfortable or nervous unless you're not feeling confident. And confidence comes from a rock solid foundation. It comes from within you. So you're either confident or you're not. You can be in certain situations that make you unconfident or uncomfortable, right? But then you're going to display this behavior. So even if you're not comfortable, watch out for laughing at the end of sentences and cut it out. Too many people are doing it. I know so many people that laugh at the end of every sentence and they ruin their own jokes. They don't come across as respectable, and really it's just a shame because they're so much less of a man than they could be if they just had the ability to sound more comfortable and confident. Even if they don't feel it, just sound more comfortable and confident. Laughing at the end of your sentences, unless it's a hilarious joke and you really can't take it, you just have to let it out. You know, and you'll know when that is, because it's not the same thing at all with what we've seen with Michael Cera. Don't do what Michael Cera does. Don't be Michael Cera. Okay, point number 2. Never let yourself be talked over by someone else. It says that you don't think what you're saying is important enough for people to hear. It says that you're not confident enough to challenge someone who has clearly challenged you by speaking over you in the first place. And it all around makes you not a respectable person. It shows that you are low value, that someone else has something more important to say. Regardless of what you're saying, it does not matter. Even if it's not important at all, the very fact that someone else is speaking over top of you, regardless of what they're saying, regardless of how important it is versus how important what you're saying is, doesn't matter. If someone else is speaking over you, that looks really, really bad for you. Don't let it happen. Here's a counter example. We're going to see Trump. He doesn't let anybody talk over him. Whatever you think of him, he doesn't let you talk over him. Okay? And by extension, we also get to see what it looks like when you keep getting spoken over, which in this case, the demonstrator for that is Hillary Clinton. Let's check it out.
Called it the gold.
Were laid out. I was against it once it was finally negotiated and the terms were laid out. I wrote about that in.
You called it the gold standard.
Well, I hope
you called it the gold standard of trade deals. You said it's the finest deal you've ever seen.
No.
And then you heard what I said about it, and all of a
So Trump just goes in heavy and hard. It wasn't his turn to speak. Not his time to shine. He's supposed to sit back and let Hillary Clinton say what she's going to say, and he just bulldozes right over her. And she's just got these little peeps of protest. No. Just sad. She really does give up. She could have challenged Trump and tried to speak over top of him. She just lets him eventually win. She cedes ground. Now, Trump, obviously, he's the one speaking. She lost that little skirmish, so he looks good, she looks bad. Simple as that.
Sudden you were against it. No, you're telling the enemy everything you want to do.
No, we're not.
See, you're telling the enemy everything you want to do. No wonder you've been fighting. No wonder you've been fighting ISIS your entire adult life.
So even here, that uncomfortable smile on Hillary. So Trump the entire time is trying to say what he wants to say, and he gets it out, and Hillary's just trying to fight back, a little faint. Trying to push back. Trump just bulldozes. Everyone's hearing him. Nobody's hearing Hillary. And you have to be heard to be influential, right?
I think the best person in her campaign is mainstream media.
My question is, since would you like to hear? Why is your
I was against the war. Wait a minute. I was against the.
So really powerful here too. Even the moderator gets talked over by Trump. Trump is speaking. The moderator tries to get in. Trump doesn't give him any ground. And he actually confronts him directly with his classic, wait a minute. So we've actually got another video on this too. Here, we're going to explore how you can prevent yourself from being talked over, some strategies on how to confront somebody who is trying to bulldoze you. But that is what we saw here with Trump, and the moderator does get bulldozed.
The war in Iraq, just so you put it out.
The record shows otherwise.
The record does not show that.
Why is your judgment?
The record shows that I'm right.
So what we saw there is when Hillary was saying something that Trump disagreed with or just had a problem with, he used the size of his voice to push her aside and make his message known. It was Hillary's time to speak, and Trump took it. He took up space, something that confident, aggressive, dominant men do. They take up space. And a man spreading things like this, right? Even on the bus, right? Or in school, they spread their legs out. They're taking up room. They're dominating this space. So they're showing their territory. And the more territory you have, the more powerful you must be to be able to defend that territory. Trump is doing this. An extension of taking up physical space is taking up airspace. Okay, so he's taking up the airspace, taking up the headspace by using his voice to sonically push Hillary away so that he can take the space, he can dominate, he can demonstrate his message, and Hillary ultimately gets drowned out. Now, whether or not you think that that's rude or bullyish behavior or just discivil, doesn't matter. The point is, regardless of whether or not it's a nice thing to do, Trump gets that space, Trump gets his message across, Hillary loses, Hillary gets drowned out. Nobody will know what Hillary was going to say, because regardless of if Trump drowned her out rudely or not, all they heard was what Trump had to say. Okay? So remember that. The polite thing to do is not always the most effective thing to do. Okay? Don't get talked over. Don't be Hillary Clinton. Now, number 3, don't always fill the silence. Let's check out Gene Wilder's here. You might know him from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. He makes very good use of pregnant pauses. They're pregnant because they hold so much in the conversation. They have such weight, like pregnant women. They also hold so much potential, like pregnant women, because whatever is held within that pregnant pause, it's up to the subjective perception of the participants in that conversation and onlookers. So you may not say anything at all, but whoever's listening to your pause might see their worst fears in that pause. Maybe you know something they don't. Maybe you've got a secret weapon that you're trying to imply you have, but you don't want to make a direct threat. Whatever the case may be, by giving that pause, you give that little Lego piece of mystery, of enigma. It throws the other party off guard if it's a negotiation, what have you, and at the same time, it acts as a bit of a hook. If you're telling a story or something like that, it's a very effective both negotiation and storytelling tactic, and one that you really should include in your everyday conversations all day long. It just makes you that much more interesting to listen to, and that much more powerful in any regard. So let's check how that looks with Gene Wilder right here.
Oh, kid. I have one question, Dr. Frankenstein. That's Frankenstein.
So even right there, how much less effective would it have been if Gene had not had any pause, or Dr. Frankenstein had not had any pause at all? Hey, Dr. Frankenstein, it's Frankenstein. It's just more of a slapstick kind of routine. Whereas with the pause...
The Waco Kid. I have one question, Dr. Frankenstein.
Now you're thinking, what is he going to say? What is he going to do? There's a moment of suspense, of tension, of uncertainty, and your mind starts going to work. It starts trying to predict what's going to happen. That's what makes this so fun, as small of a thing as it might be.
That's Frankenstein.
Amazing. It's absolutely amazing. But under the right circumstances, a producer could make more money with a flop than he could with a hit.
All I have to do to prove it is simply reach out my hand and touch it. And touch it.
So you can see that it really just adds a new element, a new dimension of depth to the scenes, these pregnant pauses. I don't really think that there's much more to say here with regards to their value. But when you're having conversations, make sure you're not always filling your own silences, and worst of all, other people's silences. You know, the first to talk loses. If you're leaving a silence open, you're inviting others to break that silence. You're inviting others to break under the tension of whatever that silence might be burdening them with. And you're going to give yourself a much more powerful position because, again, it throws them off guard. So don't be filling your own silences. It shows insecurity, a lack of control of the situation, really a whole myriad of negative things that you really just don't want to be dealing with. Leave the pause pregnant, okay? And don't fill other people's pauses either, because that's a way to lose in what could potentially be their negotiatory gambit. They're playing their play, and you're falling into their trap. Let them break the silence. Show that you're confident enough to hold that silence. It's going to serve you really well. And especially when you're talking to girls too, and you want to demonstrate that you're calm and you're collected, holding silences shows a tremendous amount of confidence. Tremendous amount. Hold the silence. Okay, number 4. Cut it out with the ums and ahs. So this is kind of an extension off of the don't fill the silence. Don't fill the silence, but also don't fill the silence with stupid shit like this.
It's very tense. It's very awkward. It's we have to, we have to share space, which afterwards.
So clearly this guy is really nervous. He might have prepared what he was going to say, but he's forgotten or whatever. The spotlight's kind of throwing his mind in a tizzy, but there's no power behind anything he's saying. We don't even know what he's saying. He hasn't even said it. He just said,
Do you have a job?
No.
Because
no. Just own it. No, I don't. Not right now. But, no. Weak.
I have...
so we can see where this is going. Really weak. I don't think any further explanation is required. Don't do it. Don't be the evictee. And finally, guys, number 5. Do not ignore your intonation. We have another video about intonation, which you can check out right here. Check that one out for more in-depth overview on intonation. But really, guys, you can't be ignoring your intonation. It is one of the, if not the most important aspect about your voice that is going to get you attention. It's going to build attraction. It's going to build respect. It's going to give you weight behind your words. It's ultimately going to help you get exactly what you want. You need to be able to hold interest. You need to be able to vary your voice so that people pay attention to it and you have that kind of oomph behind you, okay? Do not be guy from Bueller.
Bueller.
So right now, what is this guy saying? You only have to hear him say the word Bueller once, the name Bueller once. This guy, he's not the one. Okay? He's not it. He's just not. How do you know that? His tonation.
Bueller.
One word is all it took.
Bueller.
He's sick. My best friend's sister's boyfriend's flavor's a problem with.
The Republican-controlled House of Representatives, in an effort to alleviate the effects of the the Great Depression, passed the anyone? Did it work? Anyone know the effects? It did not work, and the United States sank deeper into the Great.
Alright, so everybody's super bored, not paying attention. He's got none of the signs that he's effectively communicating. Nobody's laughing. Nobody's giving him positive feedback. Nobody's contributing to what he's saying, bouncing off of him. It's just all around terrible. It's just awful. Don't be the teacher from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So guys, that has been the video. 5 things for you to never ever do when speaking, ever. What were they? Don't laugh at the end of every sentence, yours or anyone else's. Don't let people talk over you. It's always a bad look. Don't always be filling in the silence. Leave those pregnant pauses. Forget the uhs and ahs, okay? The ums and ahs. And do not ignore your intonation. Always regard your intonation. Again, check out the video right here for more specifics on that. Thank you so much, guys. This has been Winner's Warchest. I'm Oak Thorson. See you in the next one.
Winner's Warchest is shaking ground and making waves. Join the countless people discovering the #1 place to master charisma, influence, persuasion, and power. Click subscribe, watch the next video, and go win. I'd hate to be disappointed.